So today we're on our 4th week with Sue Worrall, and she's talking about gut health and underlying inflammation. Now, the reason that we've asked Sue to come on today, obviously she's amazing in her field of work as well. But just think about this. If you're not healthy in your business, how can your business actually succeed? To have the right mindset, to have the right insights, and to feel good and healthy about yourself, that will help you and your business to go forward in the future. Also, we are based in Sweden. Sweden winters are very dark and long. So to actually be healthy, jumping into winter will help you spring out into spring with a good, healthy peace of mind. So thank you, Sue, for coming again today, and over to you, Sue.
Thank you for having me. Good morning, everyone. First of all, my apologies for last week, and I might be oversharing, but it's all about health and how our body works. And Claire's other group is called Confident Communicating Queens. I think I got it right this time.
You did.
And it's all about communication, and our body is the absolute master of communication. If any business ran as efficiently as our body does, it would be an amazing business, because every organ, every system, every chemical cascade, every blood supply, every transportation system, the plumbing system, they all talk to each other. When it comes to medicine, sometimes this is a bit not so good for them, because they cannot isolate a system and try and treat it without it affecting the other systems. Hence, we get side effects from all sorts of medication. So last week, I had COVID 3 weeks before, got over that, was feeling great for 3 days. And then this has happened with some of the COVID vaccines that I've come across. Is people have gone down with urine infections. And I went down with a urine infection. And then I was flying on the Thursday after the meeting to Edinburgh, and I was just weeing blood. So it was not good. It was not good. And I could not get hold of a doctor. The pharmacy said, you must go and see a doctor. And I said, can you fix that for me, please? Because it's impossible. So anyway, I just had to go get there early, get on the plane, try and get there from the airport to the doctor. Couldn't get through to anything. My daughter pretended to be me, got me some antibiotics for when I arrived the other end. So it messed my time up for doing the meeting. I'm sorry. So that's why I wasn't here. But that's all about plumbing and how the body works. And our water, our waste system, does all the separation. So we cannot, people would do a detox and a cleanse, which is helping the body, but we're always detoxing. Otherwise, we'd be horizontal, because we've got kidneys, liver, spleen, and our skin and our respiration system. And they all take the toxins out of the blood supply and turn it into H2O. And that's what happened when my bladder, the last bit of defense, had an infection or a virus or something hit it. It wasn't doing its job, so it wasn't being separated. And that's what happens. And it's just a chemical works, really, and a plumbing machine. So when you understand what's happening, you can often help prevent it or see it coming. So one of the things that we deal with all the time is underlying inflammation. And this is one of the things that is also definitely affecting people of how ill they are with COVID. And underlying inflammation is nearly always present in people who are obese, particularly morbidly obese. And underlying inflammation is there as you age, with joint ache and back pain, which is this, spine bit, long bone ache. It comes from aging, but it also comes from what we put in our body and how our body works with whatever it is to turn all that into fuel that is enhancing and making our body thrive, or our body has to struggle, and then it ends up getting some inflammation going, because what happens is the immune system starts to attack itself. So there's an awful lot of underlying inflammation around at the moment that doctors are dealing with. So first of all, most of mine is based about diet. All the main pillars of health, which are like exercise, mindset, and sleep, and hydration, which is part of nutrition really. But nutrition is the mother of all that. Nutrition is the foundation, because we cannot live without fuel. And if we give our body the wrong fuel, that's when it struggles. So the first port of call is, when you put the food in your body, is your bacteria. So do you all know, just say, no, don't shake your heads. Do you all know the difference between prebiotics and probiotics? No. Okay, thank you, Jaden. thank you for participating. Yeah, well, they are different. They're very different. So first of all, we've got bacteria in our gut. We've got bacteria right through our body. So all the bacteria in our body is about 100 times more. The single cell bacteria in our body are 100 times more than human cells. So we're not really human if we really analyze it. And that is called our microbiome. And the bacteria themselves are called our microbiota. It's just words. And the most of our bacteria is in our gut, because it's used to break down food and to pre-digest the toxins and to help our whole body work. And we know now that there is a direct link between that gut bacteria and our brain. It's called our gut brain. And it's second most important to our DNA, really, our other system. And it's all about symbiosis. So the bacteria that's called prebiotic bacteria is whatever we put in there that encourages and helps the good bacteria grow. Years ago, when my kids were little, the doctor used to say, oh, a child's got ear infection, it's caused by germs. So I'm not sure what germs were. I still joke about the retired doctor now that it lives nearby. I say, how are your germs today, Hayden? Because it's a bit of a joke. What are germs? Don't know. But the whole thing, I suppose, addressed as germs, and they were thought they were all bad, and they are definitely all bad. They keep us alive. So what we want to do is promote the good bacteria that does, I'm not going to go into the science because it gets quite complicated. It just helps everything we do. It helps us our digestion. It helps us extract what we need from food. So when we put things in our mouth, like isolated vitamins, for example, nothing is equal. Like we buy food, 2 yogurts are not equal. One is good for us, one is bad. Vitamins, one is okay for us, one is not. So we've got to be careful what we put in there, because it's not just about getting it into our stomach, it's about getting it into our body. And a lot of the stuff that goes into our stomach never gets to our body. It goes straight through the waste system and gets thrown out as quickly as possible. Food poisoning happens when your bacteria know immediately this is toxic. So it gathers it all as much as it can and it throws it out, whichever end is the easiest for it. And it just gets it out of your body. And that's why you're violently sick. And that's why if you have a tummy problem, you shouldn't use Imodium and things that block that exiting of the toxins. So any food you put in there, like fruits and vegetables, cooked from scratch products, healthy grains, anything that's most natural, really increases gut bacteria. So I never ever suggest that people should take prebiotics. And well, no, that's not quite true. I have very occasionally, and only when people have been on prophylactic. That's, you know what prophylactic means. It means they give it as a blanket treatment. So some doctors have been prescribing in the years past, particularly prophylactic antibiotics. So if you have like a water infection, a urine infection that goes to your kidneys, some doctors prescribe prophylactic antibiotics and they take them for a year or more. Now I know 3 people who are on those, and they're the ones with long COVID. I'm not saying there's a direct correlation. There's loads of research on it though. So prophylactic antibiotics, they kill the good bacteria as well, because you've got them for so long. Even short-term antibiotics. My gut bacteria is normally really good, because you can get it tested as well. We've got a system. Anybody wants any medical tests, we've got a link to a laboratory who do really good price testing. Just because I took 3 days of antibiotic and I haven't had antibiotics for 9 years and 20 years before that, I'm going to take 30 days of probiotics. So the prebiotics are only needed. I use them for sports people if they'd had a really nasty injury that affected their spleen or their gut system, digestive system in any way, and they'd been on antibiotics, and because they were just about to hammer their body, and I just made sure I gave them some prebiotics, which you can order through different companies, but mostly we don't need them. So people try to sell you prebiotics, just eat well. Yogurt's okay. You have to be aware that there's 6 or 7 spoonfuls of sugar in the yogurt. So if you can get the more natural yogurt, get Greek yogurt, and never buy low-fat yogurt. So anything like that is good. All the fermented stuff is really great. And then that encourages the growth of bacteria. Then if you're low on bacteria, probiotics are things like yogurt, but a culture made specifically. And with probiotics, there are millions out there. It's best to get one with a lot of variety, not just basilicas, with a great variety of them. And if you've had a child born without going through the birth canal, so it's born through cesarean section, through the sunroof, as my husband called it, if child's born through the sunroof, then that child will need to have some specific probiotics. And just give them for a month or so as they're weaned, and it'll just get them going. So it is good to take those. If you feel your gut bacteria is low, take some probiotics, and that will work with whatever you're eating. So fruits and vegetables are great. Any fermented food is great. Greens are brilliant. As many greens as you can. So if you were putting greens in your smoothies, Claire, that makes a huge difference. I haven't had a smoothie for 5 days now because I haven't had any spinach, and my NutriBullet engine went, the motor went, and I haven't had a chance to get one. And I really miss those greens in the morning. And I'm really a big fan, as I said in the other thing, to get greens in the morning. So look after your gut, because it's as important as your brain. It can really help brain fog. We're doing a workshop on the 30th next week on menopause, and there's a lot more to menopause than meets the eye. And men have a kind of menopause as well. It's a lowering in testosterone. It's only something like less than 20% of men who have a problem, whereas 100% of women who have the symptoms. But we're doing a talk on that next week. If anybody wants to come along, I'll send you the link. It would be brilliant. And that deals with this as well. So look after your gut, and that will talk to your brain and make a difference. So that also really helps to prevent underlying inflammation, your body's inflammatory load. So everyone who's sick and dying, their inflammatory load increases. Things like cholesterol, you may be surprised to know that when people get very sick and then their last week of life, their cholesterol goes very low. So that's one of the reasons I'm not a big fan of statins, because there's still tons of research on this. And statins lowers your good cholesterol as well. And that your body doesn't make anything that makes the body sick. So I'm a bit concerned about lowering all your cholesterol. So the inflammatory load increases when you're ill. So anyone who's clinically and morbidly obese has got inflammatory load. Anyone who's got things like asthma, diabetes, they've all got an increased inflammatory load. And an increased inflammatory load, you can only do it by lifestyle and diet. You can't, there's not a pill you can take. There's certain things you can take, which I will send you after, because I'm just going to come to the end of this bit and I'll send Claire the PDFs again. The rest, there is a base you should all be taking, and I'll just say some of them now. So you should all be taking vitamin D3 with K2. The reason it's with K2 is because when you take vitamin D3, it pulls in more calcium from your food, which we need because osteoporosis is another result of aging and inflammatory load. But it can deposit in your arteries, and we don't want that. So vitamin D3 with K2 in a spray form, get it anywhere. I'm just wondering if you put it in your cards. That's what I was thinking, Christian. And magnesium. So if no one's taken any supplements for a long time, you should get some magnesium threonate and some vitamin D3 now for this winter. I highly recommend both of those. It makes a big difference to your underlying health and and your inflammatory load. And the third thing you should all have is omega-3, but not just omega-3, because the very latest research, state-of-the-art new research, shows we should be having 3, 5, 6, 7, and 9. All of them work synergistically. The body does not do things in isolation. It has it synergistically. So an apple has 10,000 nutrients, plant nutrients. Why do we just take vitamin C out? That's my theme of all my clinics and practices over the years. So those are the 3 things you should have. And I'm going to share my screen quickly to show you the best, which you can get from Claire. So just 1 second. Can I screen share? Yep, okay. I'll go on my other screen. Okay, can you see that? No, not yet. I'm pressed share probably. See that now?
Now we can see it, yes, Sue.
Okay, so this is and also state-of-the-art omega. I've been taking krill, top quality krill omega. Things like probiotics and omegas, you get what you pay for. Don't buy them tuppence a bag online. It just doesn't work. So this is brilliant, because my daughter's a marine biologist and keen on the environment and always nags me to death. So she loved this when this appeared. So these omegas do different things. They work on your heart, brain, and eyes, and also underlying inflammation. And as I said, they work synergistically, but we don't really want to be depleting our oceans. And taking krill, which is done by some of the top of the chain feeders, feed on their krill feeders. We don't really want to be doing that. And we don't want to be disturbing the oceans either. So this omega is made from something called schizochitrum. Did I do a little picture of it? No, it's this green stuff here. Oh no, here it is. It's made from schizochitrum, which is an algae that the fish eat to get their omega-3. So it's the ancient source of omega-3, really pure, and they can grow it in farms outside the ocean pristinely. It's not easy to grow, it's expensive to grow, so the products are not cheap. It's not the most expensive product out there. And that's one of the reasons. And the DNA from there, the DHA from there is very, very pure. And you only need two capsules a day. And the other thing is, it doesn't only, as I said, not take the fish, it doesn't disturb the oceans. But the capsule it's made from is made from fermented tapioca called pullulan. It's the only capsule that is state of the art and has, it's like a little spirit level. And I'll hold one up later when I hand back to Claire. And it's encased in this, because when you have any other oil capsule or omega capsule, if it's put into a tablet, it's not as effective. It's put in a jar, in an oil. A, it's horrible to swallow, and B, it oxidizes. And those have to be really heat sealed in a pharmaceutical capsule. So when they heat seal them, they can make the oil hydrogenated. So it's Russian roulette every time you take one. So this is why I love these. Now, Claire is a distributor for these health products. So if anyone's interested and they need to know more, I'll do a free chat with any of you. And this will really help your underlying inflammatory load. It will help promote your gut bacteria. It will help keep your bones strong. It will give you better neural sheath messaging to keep your brain active. And we don't know yet, but there is research looking at it. It helps prevent Alzheimer's and dementias. So that's my message for today. I've got a PDF booklet for you on the body's inflammatory load, and I'll send you another little text with some of the things I said in case any of you missed it. And if anybody wants to one-to-one on for half an hour or so on where you are with your health, I can say to you, you might want to take magnesium, you might want to take zinc, you might want to take this, because it's no good going to get a multivitamin and just taking them all, because your body has to work too hard to get hold of what your body needs. It needs to be accessible, absorbable. And my last word is, you are what you eat, digest, and fail to excrete. So I hope you enjoy the rest of the meeting.
Brilliant. Thank you so much, Sue. That was amazing. Again, thank you so much. Can you just stop your screen sharing, please, if you don't mind?
I'm just doing that now.
Yeah, we'll do a question and answer once I've pressed stop recording. But just let us know, Sue, what are you going to be last week? Next week is our last week. So what are you going to be talking about next week, please?
I'm going to pull this all together next week and give you the 4 pillars and then the little groups of things underneath those. So you can choose, we know our own bodies really, you think, oh, I'm a bit one-sided on that or whatever, or I'll do a one-to-one with everyone and tell you which one you need. And you can concentrate on those things. I'll give you things to concentrate on and things you can do. Some with food, some with maybe a supplement for 30 days or whatever.
Brilliant. Thank you, Sue. So that'll be next week. And if anybody wants to reach out, like Sue just said, for a 30-minute one-to-one with her free, then please do so. She's a wealth of knowledge, as we've found out over the last 4 weeks as well. And of course, over the last 10 years with you, Sue. I've known you for about 10 years. And on and off, isn't it? Yes. So, and next week will be the last week, and thereafter we've got about 2 weeks left then of pure networking, so before our Christmas break, and we'll be breaking up then for 2 weeks over Christmas and returning back in January. So for anybody who wants to network before Christmas, then just reach out to us. Thank you very much. I'm going to stop the recording.